All right. So obviously it's 2 o'clock. I had bad problems getting into Canvas. I did get an email from school saying that Canvas was down. It seems like it's kind of still down. If you got on like me, it was just luck that you got into the right spot at the right time. So guys, if you're watching the video and aren't here, don't worry about it from an attendance wise or anything like that. I just want to make sure you guys know that I do have, I think, almost everything. I have everything graded that I have. Meaning if you sent me an email and I found that I graded it. So if you look in the grades, once you can get back into Canvas and you see a 0, that just means I didn't have it. Now, there were a few that I found in the school email, and I can't update it right now because Canvas is down, but I will update those as soon as I can. But if you submitted something and you're not seeing a grade, meaning you're seeing a 0 right now, just send me an email, send it again, let me know, we'll get it worked out. Okay, we'll figure that out. But there are, again, some outstanding projects that you guys have. Just give it to me, or give it to me whatever you have done, type of thing. Don't worry about making it perfect. Does that make sense? At this point, give me projects, because I don't want you to get zeros on projects. I'd rather give you points of some sort than a 0. And then of course we have our magazines, which are due come Friday. Okay, so if you have questions or anything about that, let me know. So give me 1 minute. I want to get one thing, and I'm going to come back and just do a really quick Photoshop kind of refresher. It's been a couple weeks, months since we did Photoshop, and then we'll be good for today. Hold on 1 sec. Okay. So obviously with Photoshop, you really want to kind of make sure you're working in a non-destructive manner. And I'm gonna open this up. I started playing with this one yesterday, and let me just kind of turn off some things here. So non-destructive means you're going to be working with smart filters or smart objects. So you can make adjustments as you go. You're not being destructive and adding things. So you down here, for example, you're doing an adjustment layer instead of doing an adjustment on the photo itself. In some image adjustments, and we'll just do black and white. And as I do this, you're going to see it made a permanent change to that layer. Okay, I can't turn it on and off. I'm going to undo it, but I can't do that. So if I did that same thing as an adjustment layer, black and white, you'll see here now it's an adjustment layer on top of it, and I can turn that on and off. Okay, so that's a non-destructive way. We're doing the same thing. We're making the picture black and white, but in this case, we're doing it in a non-destructive way so as it's not hurting anything. And again, we can even click here, so it's just going to select the layer that's below, okay, with our file. And you can see the little arrow going down on this black and white adjustment layer. It's only affecting layer 1. So if I turn that off, it's not affecting down here because it's not going down, it's only going to here. Okay, so again, work smart. And the reason I say so is you or your client is going to want to make a change, okay, at some point. And it might be now, it might be 2 weeks from now, could be 2 months from now. And they're going to go, you know what? Can we do this not black and white? I liked it when you showed me the color one. And you're going to go, okay, let me work on that and get back to you on it. And all you're going to do is open the file and turn it off. And now you're back to where you were. Okay. But you're going to get those kind of things where the client's going to want to make a change, or in fact, you're going to make a change as you go. whether it be something like positioning of something or color, you're going to change. Okay, so make sure that you are working in non-destructive manners, such as adjustment layers, or using, in this case, smart filters. Okay, so here I can smart filter, I can open that file back up. And this was a raw file initially, and I can make those adjustments that I need to in here without really kind of hurting things, without destroying the picture. Right, so we've got that picture itself, and we're just making adjustments to it. And because it's a raw file that we open, it's going to save and apply the changes and send it back to the image itself. Okay, so it's now making those changes here. It updated the pictures down here. Okay. Now in this particular picture, I knew I had some image, I had some dust and dirt, and what I did was I made a copy and I made it a rasterized file. Just make a copy real quick. It's gonna think. Come on. Let's crash. Oops, cancel. So in this case, I wanted to get rid of some of this dirt, and there's some smudges going on, and like this airplane, that's this red light. And if I go to something like my healing brush, it won't work because it's a smart object. So what I did was I went to image, I'm sorry, layer, and I rasterized the layer, rasterized smart object, which makes it now just kind of regular pixels. And I can now come through and make those kind of adjustments that I want. Anything in here, maybe there's some smudges or something like that. And then if I want to make additional effects like smart effects or smart filters, at that point, I'm going to convert this thing back to smart filters. So therefore I can come back in here and blur or distort or do whatever I need to do. That makes sense. So it's like it's a back and forth sometimes to do this, but it does work. Okay. And again, we're working in a non-destructive manner. So if I come back in here and this is kind of going to kind of get rid of some of the shakes. Okay, we're going to try to clean it up with the reducing the noise. I'm just looking to see how much I want to do it. Sometimes it takes a little bit to see if it's working. A little bit, bump it a little more. Trying to get rid of some of the pixelization, which is the noise, the dots that we're seeing in there. So once I've done this, I've clicked OK, you'll see that it comes up as a smart filter and noise reduction. So therefore, I can come back in, can turn it off for one, okay, or I can double click on it and come back in and make more adjustments. It's not a permanent change. It's a non-destructive change that's happening. My computer's getting old. That's blacking out on me now. Okay, and I can, nope, I didn't want that. I wanted to do it over here. You can open that whole thing back up and make those differences. Okay, so again, in non-destructive, meaning I can start to change and move things and do different items within there. Does that make sense on that? So it's again a good way to go. Now, yesterday I was playing, and I'm just going to make a copy here. And let me undo. I'm going to make this a raster layer now. So I'm just back to normal. I'm going to get rid of this, cleaning up things. So we've gone through things like changing the sky, right? Where you can do that and do a sky replacement. I'm just working off it as a JPEG. It just makes it so much easier. Right, and you can see where we put the sky in, and you can again make those changes here, right? So you can adjust how it looks, and don't just kind of go with the default. Remember to get in here and work with the kind of parts of the layers that you want to work with. Okay, so I'm not going to do that, but I think that they've added since the last one. Well, they have had it, but it's really got so much better. They've added this thing called neutral filters, and watch, this is going to look nuts. So it's kind of like a whole new tab interface that comes up. And again, it's still in beta. They're still just working this thing out, but they've got these incredible things. This is nuts. Watch this. So I've got this picture. This is a photo I took at Yosemite at night. So there's some stars and stuff like that. But they've got these presets that you can start to play with and bring them in, and it's kind of bring a color and feel into your photo. Okay, so we're at night, and I'm just going to click on one here and let this thing. It's processing. This is going to be some kind of heavy duty stuff, but it's bringing in these effects to your photos. So let's watch this in a second. So they're adding to these all the time. And I can tell you they are pretty intense from a memory standpoint, but okay. We just made Yosemite a winter picture. So this was my photograph taken, it was actually in the spring, but because of this neutral filters thing that the computer has, it made it a winter wonderland. Okay, so it took my photo and it does, I was looking at it, it's like it does pretty good job of putting it in. Now there's some problems down here with the snow, but it puts stuff in pretty remarkable way for the computer to be just kind of thinking about it. And then you can also come through and add in other effects. So I'm going to just click another picture to show you what you can do. Again, it's a little time consuming from a memory standpoint, but this is incredibly crazy, remarkable that you could take any one of your pictures and make it a winter wonderland if you want to. And they do have effects here for portraits and other things. You're going to have to get in there and play with these and see how they're going to work with your photos and what you're trying to do. But this is more than just like a game changer. This is going to really change things with what we do. So we are here with that. And I wanted to make it look, let's make it look a little more autumn-like. And it's just thinking, I'm sure with the new computer, it's going to go fast. Um, so again, we've always had effects, and you can see now it's kind of made it kind of winter or autumny colors with what's going on, and found some locations to put in the trees. Um, Literally, this is going to change what you see and do on photographs. It's going to change the idea of should you believe anything you see at this point with photos. Not just the idea that we can superimpose somebody's face on somebody else's body, and we've been able to do that and get pretty good at it. But you know, the fact that I can change the season or time of day is going to be pretty amazing. Okay, so here we are. It kept the same kind of lighting attitude that it had, but now you can see that it's snowing to the mountains. So it's different than that last one, which added snow to every tree. This one just kind of added snow to the hills in kind of a much more delicate way. And again, you know, when you start to look at this, and again, it may not be as sharp as you might want it to be if you're going to blow this thing up and put it behind your sofa, right? You're going to do this big, you know, 24 by 48 photo. But from a social media world or from a website world, this thing is going to rock. And again, I haven't worked with it on high res to see how much it's going to do, but it's pretty cool. And what the coolest thing is now I can take my photo. This is my photo, and I can make it look like it was done in the winter. Okay, even though I wasn't there in the winter, right? I've been there when it snows, but never enough where there's been a lot of snow kind of sitting there. You know, it's like perfect timing. You got to get those times and be able to get in there to get this. But I'm able to kind of fake it out and make this incredibly beautiful winter snow wonderland. And like I said, I've already decided I'm going to fake this out, and I'm going to be, you know, adding the words Merry Christmas to it, and making my own kind of Christmas card with the snow. And if I just put this up on Instagram, nobody would be the wiser. Everybody would assume I just was there in the winter and took that picture. And I, like I said, you guys are going to have to really start to worry about stuff. But from a creativity standpoint, it's kind of cool, right? I mean, this is my photograph that's been adapted and modified in Photoshop. So it's still mine. Does that make sense? I'm not having to go buy somebody else's picture of Yosemite in the snow. I've got my own. And I think as you start to work with this, it's going to get pretty nuts. Let me just see if I have something else really quick here. But you can do to pull these things off. What was that? Somebody. Questions on that neutral filters? Is that making sense, guys? The neutral filters. And at this point, you're going to be able to start to work on things.
Yeah, like everything else, it's a lot to digest.
I'm just, like I said, this stuff is just getting so smart. That's the problem. That's what's a good thing, right? I mean, it allows us to be creative. And again, I would never do this if I'm trying to push this as National Geographic, or, you know, it's something going to go in the New York Times where it's supposed to be legit and right. I mean, we are definitely pushing the parameters of faking it. But it's pretty good. To me, it's going to be a lot of fun. I want to see how this one comes out with the snow. Because obviously this is no snow and it's kind of a daylight situation. Look at that. And if you look, this is, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. I mean, it got a little funky over here with the cars, just goofing off, but if you look at the coming through the grasses, it's pretty amazing there. And even on the mountain, it's pretty darn sharp as to what it would look like. So like I said, I think from a creativity standpoint, this is going to allow you to do some things that you hadn't thought about before. I'm not allowed to throw it up there. There you go. So we went from a daylight situation to kind of a sunset. And you can actually add in things on top of it. So I want to make it look like a sunset at spring. And it should be greening up. It's going to recognize this tree and green it up some. We'll see. Look at that. So we added the car. You're going to have to know that's not going to work right. It doesn't know what's going on. But it made the grasses greener and all that kind of stuff, and really punched it out, you know. So I'm going to click OK. And that's where it took. Here is the original picture that I took. Here's the computer generated picture that I took. That to me, that's quite remarkable what it's done in the computer. And you can see it even filled out the leaves a little bit more on the tree. And yeah, the cars, I'm not worried about it. I can Photoshop, I can clone that out. I can do whatever I want over here to get rid of that. Okay. Crop it even, for that matter. Okay. But this is, I think, is going to open up a whole new world to Photoshopping for everybody. All right, any questions on that? So work non-destructively. You'll see this neutral filter is a destructive thing. It makes a copy, but you can't go back in and adjust it. If you want to make a change, you got to start over. Okay, so you're not able to come back and readjust the layers and such with that down the line. But other than that, you should be using, again, adjustment layers, okay, to convert. Same thing with down here. And if you're going to do effects or filters, you're going to do it here. Okay, and we're going to adjust. Again, it's an effect, right? I can turn it off. Okay, or I come back in here and make adjustments. Up too much. Let me pull it up a little bit. Okay, there it is. We got the effect going, but I can come back and adjust. Had I come over here to effects or adjustments and done it in here, it becomes a permanent thing to that layer, which we don't want it to be. We want to be able to adjust. Okay. All right. Questions on that? And like I said, we'll put this up on the canvas. Or sorry, on the website. Everything up on the website should be up to date. I got that updated this morning, with the exception of obviously today's video. So if you came in late, I came in late because Canvas was not working for me. Go through and check out your grades. I did have a few more I'm going to add in, but if you sent it and you have a 0 listed there, just send it again, so I can get you marked up and we get everybody up to date on that. Questions? Hopefully Wednesday or Thursday rather. Zoom is up and working.
Yeah, so are the grades going to be on the website also?
No, just on Canvas.
Okay, whatever it's out.
Yeah, just your Canvas. And that's, so you can see your grades, but you can't see anybody else's. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you know that the last demo you did, and you made the comment that if you were doing something, you had to start over. That seems really contradictory to the whole technology computer age, you know,
Well, I think it's
a little
because,
bit.
well, I think it's because it's doing so much on top of that picture and these neutral filters that it can't keep it separated, so you can come back and adjust it later. I mean, it's doing huge things. I mean, to look at a picture and interpret it and go, here's where you should put snow. Dude, this thing is like, it's mind blowing how much it's doing. Whereupon, the other things are kind of normalized. So to me, it's just something you have to work around. Okay, this is what it does. I'm going to save a copy before I start. So if it totally screws it up, I got my original. And if it turns out I don't like the way I want, I can go back and do it again. And I think you're going to find it does work. And I think you are right that you will see those changes made in a way that can be adjusted later. I know that, right? Because this idea of adjustments and stuff, that wasn't always in Photoshop. I mean, I can tell you, Photoshop didn't have layers, guys. It used to be you had to move things up and down. Up here you would do the mode, and you would kind of do adjustments and move things forward, backwards, just like you kind of do in Illustrator to some degree. They didn't have that in Photoshop. Now it does. I'm just going to see desktop. You guys are, so questions while we're doing, I'm play real quick. I don't have a lot of city pictures. Just trying to find something with the city. Give me 1 second, just looking to see what I have. Oh, I have some. So I want to see what happens when I make it snow in Hawaii. One second here. So any questions before that? Now, see, that didn't look right. That doesn't look good at all. It did the snow thing, but that was just like, that's crappy, right? And this whole statue got messed up. Let me just see if you can kind of enhance the sky, because I know I can do the sky replacement and get that working there too. So again, obviously we're gonna have to play with these filters, see how they work given the circumstance. Again, they're all in kind of beta, meaning they're on kind of, see, that didn't work either, right? So you can see it's kind of messing with the picture. And then when he did a landscape, it didn't really notice because there's nothing that's really crisp there, right? It's like hills and mountains, and it still worked with that. But obviously these filter effects are not gonna, at least the landscapes aren't gonna work too well with that. There is this one is kind of nice, and I don't know if it's gonna, but basically if you had a black and white picture, it will colorize it. Okay, so I'm gonna cancel that, but that's kind of a cool thing. So if I had this photo as a black and white, actually I'm gonna do it in a destructive way just to make it work well with that filter effect. Image adjust, black and white. And now I'm going to go back to that colorized effect. So again, I think you're going to have to learn to go back and forth with these neutral filters. And it's basically colorizing the picture to give you that kind of look of a black and white photo that's been hand tinted or hand colorized. This seems to work a little faster. See, that's pretty, you know, that's kind of got some cool things going on. Okay, so again, you can come in and tint. That's going to be nice, I think, to use. All right, so one from that to this. Okay, and then we have the original here. Yeah, just a different effect, a different look. That's kind of nice, right? It goes back to that black and white look. All right, I'll let y'all go. I'm gonna keep y'all busy. All right, anything else before today? So work on the magazines, double check things are turned in. I have a few more grades that I'm going to update once I get back into Canvas that I found in the school email. But if you see a 0, that just means I don't have the file. Doesn't mean you didn't do it. Send it to me at danielmgross.com. And we'll get everything up to date and get you guys graded. All right. Anything else? Thank you guys for hanging in there or getting in here. And we will hopefully have a good time on Thursday. All right.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you,
boss.
guys. Thank you.